Good afternoon. Welcome to today's ceremony honoring Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo A. Livingston and his family. Today we pay special tribute on the occasion of retirement following distinguished military career spanning 21 years of active duty service in the United States Air Force. Presiding officer for today's ceremony is Commander 48th Junior Squadron Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy M. Oxenberg. My name is Second Sergeant Roberts, and I will be your narrator for today's event. Recognizing the member who is retiring is one of the oldest traditions in the military. The retirement ceremony is a prestigious event and the highest honor we can give to retirement Air Force members. Throughout the ceremony, we will be given cues to rise and be seated at appropriate times. As a reminder, during the singing of our national anthem, military members in uniform should stand at attention. All others should place their right hand over their heart. At this time, we'd like to recognize some very special guests, beginning with the honoree's family. The spouse of Chief Livingston, Mrs. Chanel Livingston. And their children, Sincere, Roman, and London. His parents, Michael Stanley, Paulette Livingston Crucian. Grandparents, Paul and Susie Livingston. We're also honored to have in attendance 20th Fighter Wing Command Chief Master Sergeant Liz Livingston. 20th Mission Support Group Command Team, the Commander, Colonel Matthew S. Davis, the Deputy Director, Mr. Raymond S. Mackey, and the Chief Master Sergeant John E. Holter. And to all other distinguished visitors, families, and friends who have come to celebrate, the Livingston family would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on this beautiful occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the post of the colors, the singing of the national anthem, and the invocation.
Others, H. Hudson, Our Father, thank you. Thank you for the freedom and liberty that you've given us. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for each of the men and women who protect those freedoms, Heavenly Father, allow the Rizzo to be a part of that protection. I thank you, Heavenly Father, for allowing Chanel to come into his life to provide us stabilization. Thank you for the children that you've given us to him and this career that you've given to him, allowing him to pour into others and strategically placing people in his life so that they would prepare him for leadership. Thank you for this career that you've given him, Heavenly Father, and the family and friends that you've given him along the way. I pray, Heavenly Father, that as he transitions from this working sphere onto the next place, I pray, Heavenly Father, that you would cover him and prepare him, strengthen him, do the same, just as you've done with him thus far. It's these things I pray in your Son Jesus' name. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you to our Fire Department, Army Guard, Chief Master Sergeant Retired, and candidates, and the beautiful addition of Nancy Anthony, and Mrs. Robert Barrett, from Education. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our presiding officer of today's ceremony, Lieutenant Colonel. This guy's got the heavy lift today. He's definitely thank you. Ushers, Sergeant Milburn, Livingston Lilly, Aaron Murphy, Aaron Williams, thank you guys in the background. Very really appreciate it. To my 20 CS family, thank you for coming out today to show the support. This is awesome. Is Miss Brenda here today? Happy birthday, Miss Brenda. Thank you guys for coming out today, making the trip, as well as his grandparents, all of these Livingston coming out the world. Thank you guys, and the whole family that's sitting here today. Thank you guys for coming out. Chief, thanks for giving me the opportunity to be the opening act. I appreciate it. I don't mean that like totally, but I really appreciate it. It's definitely one of the retiring. All right, so like I mentioned, today's not about me, right? We're here, we're all here to celebrate and commemorate an individual who has selflessly dedicated 21 years of faithful service to our United States Air Force. All right, so with that being said, let's pause for a moment, and we're going to go back in time just a little bit. 2002, exactly. You know what's going on. All right. Every time I read this, something cracks me up. In 2002, Kelly Clarkson won the first season of American Idol. Everybody remembers that. All right, hey, you guys remember the first flip phone that came out on the camera? Push that out in 2002. Apple released the second generation iPod at 20 gigabytes of storage. Pretty amazing. All right, maybe for some of the younger era, you guys remember this, but Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002. Such an amazing movie. All right, I hate this band, Nickelback. They released that song, How You Remind Me. All their songs sound exactly the same. Everyone probably remembers it. Michael Jackson, that was the year he held Jackson Jr. over the balcony in Berlin. You guys remember that photo? That happened in 2002. Still like so long ago. I may start tearing up another this. Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake broke up. 2002. Hard. Ben Affleck was the sexiest man of the year in 2002. Try to set the stage, all right? So, enough of the jokes, all right? A few things I want to highlight really quick, and I will get off the stage, I promise. But Chief is really big. I've noticed in our short time together, reminding folks about the support structure and how important it is. All right. So I'm going to read a few notes from that today, if you don't mind. Chief Master Sergeant served in the highest enlistment grade in the Air Force, obviously the DoD. They hold strategic leadership positions with tremendous influence at all levels across the Air Force. Serve as SELs. Chief Master Sergeants are part of the leadership triad, right? I'll talk a little more about that later. They're charged with the readiness, training, health, morale, welfare, and quality of life for all assigned personnel. Lastly, they are the catalyst for positive experiences for our people. That's what Chief Master Sergeants are day in, day out. Chief, since our time together, there's a few things that really stick out to me. You constantly put professional growth priority, constantly. And that was one of your greatest things I thought. Day in, day out. Complete transparency. A lot of folks will tell you the honest truth over Chief walked in, and he sat down, I was like, all right, I'm getting ready to do the honest feedback. So thank you, Chief, for always being transparent and give me that honest feedback. You may lack it at physical height, but you're bold leadership. All right, I have to one more good. The bold leadership that Chief was in the day in, day out, it was awesome. You always watch my six, and I appreciate that. I sincerely do. Chief, thank you for selflessly serving this country the past 20 years. Today has been this week. The Air Force has the same parallel to an extremely talented mentor, servant leader, and true professional. The legacy you leave behind and the positive impact you've made on not only the mission, but the countless airmen and their families will continue to live on. May God continue to give you blessings and give blessings to you as you continue this exciting chapter of your life. I salute you. One more thing I want to get up and say, I promise. To Chanel and kids, thank you for serving our country as well. Thank you for all the sacrifices the last several years you guys have been. I'm sure David Chief had some rough days, had some good days, but you guys have always been on the side. Thank you. Godspeed. I wish you guys nothing but the best moving forward and take care, all right? Appreciate it. Chief Master Sergeant Pete Smith, retired, come on the stage.
One, two. Oh, it's got a little bass to it. All right, so I guess I should open my book so I know what I'm going to say. I got a small thing up here for me. Colonel, you said about 6 times as you were getting off the stage, but you really didn't leave any of the times you said that. So anyway, thank you, sir. That was wonderful. You did a lot of my scripting, so I'm happy about that. I can move on. He did all the thanks for me, so thank everybody who's here. Wow, a lot of people came in after we started. There's a lot of y'all back there. That's good. All right. It's important to know that retirement ceremony and recognition ceremony, it's an opportunity for the squadron and everyone and the members to get together and say thank you. Thank you for your wonderful service. Thank you for the things that you have done. And as mentioned, it's one of the oldest traditions in the military. Today we take this opportunity to tell you, Chief Master Sergeant Amar Livingston, congratulations and thank you for the service that you've given the United States Air Force. Y'all better clap it up right there. That's good. I like the screamer. The screamer. We got a screamer. Somebody screaming. We got somebody screaming up in here. So it's good. You know, I've been to a lot of different retirement ceremonies, maybe 100, 200. And when you become a chief, everybody is like, can I introduce myself? Oh, I'm sorry. How you doing? I'm Chief Master Sergeant Pete Smith, retired chief, LRS chief. You know, I made Chief Master Sergeant here at Shaw Air Force Base, so it's great to be back. I've been retired for about 6 years now. That's why the belly, hence the belly. And been retired for 6 years now and just doing some things in the community. And last year I picked up a job at headquarters AFMC, I don't even know where I work yet, IG. And, you know, I've just been working there for the last few months and enjoying my time there. And so I'm very excited to be here today. You know, as mentioned, the colonel is normally the one up here doing this, but Lorenzo thought, let me get Pete up there to act a fool and tell about my career, because he is going to do and tell the real deal, because we've been knowing each other for quite some time. So sometimes when you have ceremonies, there are you know, different type ceremonies. There's ceremonies where people come together and It may be a short ceremony, it may be a long ceremony, it may be a ceremony that is unusual. I attended a ceremony one time where the dude started to take off his clothes. He just thought it was a good idea to undress and put on civilian clothes to show the transition between becoming I think he was a master sergeant to becoming a civilian. So I got talked to after that ceremony because he's out there kicking off his shoes and doing all this crazy stuff. And so there's some crazy different things that people do. But today, we're here to honor a wonderful and talented and exciting Chief Master Sergeant. A person that takes care of his airmen, takes care of his people, takes care of the civilians. And we're here to honor him today, and I'm excited to be here to do it. So are y'all ready to take that journey with me? Clap your hands and say, yeah. Well, all right, so I attend a lot of church, so I'm gonna need y'all's assistance in this real quick. Bear with me, all right? So this side, I'm gonna need your help. Whenever I point to you, I just need you to say, amen, okay? Let's practice. All right, that wasn't good enough, y'all. It wasn't loud enough. You in the back, I saw you. You didn't say anything. Right? One more time. Amen. Okay. So this side, when I point to you, the family, I need y'all to say, won't he do it? All right? Y'all know what that means? Won't God do it? Okay? But I don't want you to say it so proper. I want you to say, won't he do it? So can you do it? Ready? Oh gosh, yeah. Y'all got a lot of making up to do. So what we got? All right, be ready because I need you to be ready. So, you guys aren't together. So let me get a won't he do it one more time. All right, amen. Y'all good. All right. So won't God do it? All right. The world-renowned expert in leadership, John Maxwell, he says this. The hardest person to lead. Who do y'all think is the hardest person to lead? Anybody yell it out? No? Hey, somebody read that book, right? It's yourself. We are the hardest people to lead. It's clear in the struggle with self-discipline, it is possible to have a continued success without self-discipline. We got to have self-discipline. The actor and hip-hop lyricist, James Todd Smith says, stay focused. Go after your dreams and keep moving towards your goals. Anybody know who that person is? AKA? LL Cool J is hard as bomb. Man, I'm not cursing up in here. All right. To be successful, we must focus on the task at hand. All right? So we talked about being self-motivated. We talked about consistent. And now we're going to talk about how leaders need to do the things like go through their goals. And Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo has embodied these three things. I want y'all to say this with me. Self-disciplined, focused, and consistent. When I started to read over all of his reports and all of his decorations, I started to see the theme of that. He was self-disciplined in the things he did. He was always focused on everything that he did, and he was consistent. As I said those words, I saw y'all say, yeah, that's him, that's him, that's him, that's him, that's him. So before the military, sometimes when people come into the military, they say, this person was a good leader. The military made them a good leader. But oftentimes, we become good leaders before we join the military. And Lorenzo was an excellent leader before he came in. He talks about in Conway, South Carolina. Where Conway at? Where's Conway at? Conway in here today? All right, Conway. You see the Conway in here and North Myrtle Beach. He talks about being there, and North Myrtle Beach and Conway's in the house. All right. So he talks about being there, and he talks about every day. Just imagine you walking around your city every day, and you can see up to 100 of your relatives. Hey, what's up, cuz? Hey, what's up, cuz? Everybody's your cousin. I mean, you can't even date people because you related to everybody. Amen? That's how Conway is. Y'all all the same people. Everybody belong to everybody. All right, so that's how he grew up. He talked about seeing all those people. He talked about family dinners. He talked about family reunions. He talked about being with all these people. All right, and Lorenzo, he spent a lot of time with his grandparents, Paul and Shirley Livingston, the late Shirley Livingston. And so his grandpa Paul is here. Grandpa Paul, you here? All right. Yeah, he's here with his wife, Miss Susie. We thank him. And Lorenzo spent a lot of time with Grandpa. He spent a lot of time living in Grandpa's house, and Grandpa was an integral part of raising him. So we thank you, Grandpa, for making and creating such a wonderful human being, and we thank you for allowing him to join the Air Force. All right. So Lorenzo attended North Myrtle Beach High School. All right. Okay, we got some graduates of North Myrtle Beach High School. All right. I mean, they yelling, they screaming like, yeah. Oh, I want to also take time out to say hi to everybody out on the internet, everybody out watching online. I want to say hello and welcome. All right, so Lorenzo, he joined the Junior Navy ROTC. All right, and when he joined that thing, he took it by far. He joined it and he became a member of the ROTC, and then he went ahead and became the commandant. He reached the highest goal in that organization, and he became the commandant of the Navy and the Navy commander of that organization. Then they allowed him to go to leadership school. So you see the theme. He's starting to become a leader. People are starting to see things in him, and he's starting to get some training. So he graduated from North Myrtle Beach High School. Lorenzo, he ran track, he played football, he wrestled. He was recognized as one of the 12 leaders in high school. He held jobs like busboy, grocery bagger, and he even worked delivering pizzas at Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, see somebody like that here? He was delivering them pizzas, boy. Them pizzas was good. All right, and so he also was awarded something that was a little strange, but he was awarded Mr. North Myrtle Beach High School. And so when I think about that, I think about maybe some baby oil and a sash going across, and I don't know why my mind went there, but it was a little whack. So congratulations on being Mr. Myrtle Beach High School, Renzo. All right, after high school, the military seemed like the natural choice. Some other family members served, and he started talking to recruiters. And where's Uncle Paul at? Uncle Paul, where you at? Uncle Paul right there. All right. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm a little scared of Uncle Paul. After I tell this story, y'all gonna know what I'm talking about. Uncle Paul told Lorenzo, all right, Lorenzo, what I want you to do is make sure you join either the Navy or the Air Force, all right? Okay, we good, we understand? All right, that's not what you said, Uncle Paul, you gonna change the story? I'm just telling you what Lorenzo told me. He said, no Army. That's what he said, no Army, don't join the Army. Because he spent a lot of time in the Army, went through Desert Storm and all that. He was like, you will not join the Army, right? And so Lorenzo, being a smart 16-year-old, he said, you know what, I'm not listening to Uncle Paul. I'm gonna call the Marines and the Army over together and have them fight over and figure out who I'm gonna go to. Because I like the Marines uniform. How many times have you heard that? I like their uniform. And so, Uncle Paul got wind of this. And do y'all know the term being hemmed up? Have you ever heard the term being hemmed up? So Uncle Paul showed up to the house. This is the way I imagine it. Uncle Paul showed up to the house and said, Lorenzo, I heard you had some recruiters over. He was like, yeah, I'm thinking about, boom, bam, and slammed him up against the wall, right? And said, what did I tell you about, the Navy or the Air Force, right? We understand each other. And Lorenzo got let down, and then after he got out of traction and got that neck brace taken off, then he joined the Air Force, and we're all blessed for it. And so thanks, Uncle Paul, for beating him down in the living room and making sure that he did. We love the Army. The Army's great. The Marines, Navy, everybody's great, but we got a little thing for the Air Force, being a part of the Air Force. So then Lorenzo's mom, Mrs. Paulette, Miss Paulette, where you at, Miss Paulette? Lorenzo's mom and Uncle Paul was there. He was there like, all right, you gonna go in the Air Force. So he took Zo to the airport and made sure he got on the plane and made sure everything was going. And he was like, all right, he's going, I'm out of here, I did my job. And so Uncle Paul, man, I'm a little scared of Uncle Paul. I'm gonna make sure I don't say anything offense because I don't want to get hemmed up by Uncle Paul. Amen. All right, y'all staying with it. All right, good. So like all Air Force members, it was time for Lorenzo to go to basic training. Did I do any slides yet? Okay, all right, good. Slide 2, give me slide 2. Thank you. So this is his picture of basic training. You see he put a square around himself. I guess he was a flag bearer. Were you the guide on? Yeah, that's what it's called. It's been a long time for me. 36 years. I didn't remember the name. I'm sorry. All right, so he was a guide on in the basic training in San Antonio, and then he went to Shepherd. So give me the next slide, please. He went to Shepherd. Well, no. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this for 1 second. So the top of this slide says basic training weekend pass. All right, I went to basic training, and I don't remember being near to any pool. You know, where we at? Where we at, Air Force people? Were you swimming in basic training? I mean, this dude is swimming. He got his cousin. He got his cousin Akeem and his dad, and then there's some sort of inner tube in there. What is going on here? And so he was at a weekend pass. I think I went to the Alamo on my weekend pass. That's the only thing that was available back in the 80s. And so 2002, y'all was swimming anyway. So this is what he did on his weekend pass in basic training. And then he went to Shepherd Air Force Base, slide please. And then he had to go and he became an electrical systems technician. And so what that person does is, you know, not the electrician that comes and installs your ceiling fans and do those things. These are the people that take care of the big boxes and things that take care of all your electrical system for the whole city and for the whole base and for everything. And so he was in charge of being an electrician and taking care of the power to make sure when you plug something in, it was on. And so he became a great electrician, and he went to tech school, and then he finished tech school. And then it was time for him to head to Alston Air Force Base, Alaska. Now, I've been to Alston. How many of y'all been to Alston? Where my Alston people at? Yep. All right. So Alston's cold, y'all. I remember being there. All I remember is being there in the middle of the winter. I had a parka on. I had some boots on. And I just remember the front of my thighs freezing because I guess I didn't wear insulated pants. And so it was cold there. But you know what? Lorenzo loved it there. Look at him. He's just excited about being outside. I mean, this is what you told me, Lorenzo. I think I heard that. He really liked Alston because he liked being outside. Now, you did say you liked being outside. Not at Alston, though, huh? It was cold out there. All right, in every picture, there's snow. I mean, there was no summers there. I mean, what is going on here? And so he did a great job at Alston. He talks about some of the things that he did there. And one of his first jobs was to start up the trucks. You know, when we're young and we got A1C, our job is to start up the trucks, go check them out, check the tire pressure, and get the tool bags and put them in the truck and stuff like that. And he did it, and his supervisors were just like, man, this guy's great. He's doing it. He's all excited about it. He's doing it. He has a lot of joy while doing it, and he's enthusiastic, and so let's give him some more jobs. All right, and so what he did then is they were like, hey, look, man, we need somebody to take over the snack bar and coffee bar. Yeah, all right, Snacko. How many of y'all been a Snacko? That's one of the first leaderships thing that we tell. So if you know Lorenzo Livingston, you know, he became like a coffee barista. It was looking like Starbucks in there. He had pastries. He had like fried Twinkies, fried Snickers. You know, he's coming from Carolina. He got fair food in there. And so he did it up. These people are like, who is this airman first class that's coming here that's killing the snack bar? And so he actually said that was one of his favorite parts of the job. I mean, all the things you were doing, your favorite part was going shopping at the commissary and buying food and all that. And so back then, I'm not talking about yesterday, Lorenzo, I'm talking about back then. And so, next slide, please. So he traveled throughout Alaska and did a lot of different things, and then, you know, he also got a job. And can anybody guess where he got a job at? Pizza Hut. He was a Pizza Hut delivery guy, and that was his job, and he did that. But while he was doing that, he made staff sergeant. And let me tell you something about making staff sergeant. And I think you made it your first time, right? Wasn't it your first time? Yeah, of course. All your stripes were the first time, right? One thing one you didn't make. Don't y'all hate him? Yeah, I hate him. Took me 26 years to make two. Took Lorenzo 17. All right, I'm not hating up here. I'm not hating. I'm not upset. you know, but wow. So anyway, self-discipline, focus, and consistent. When you do that, you know, what they do is they give you 2 books and they say, all right, here is the professional development guide. Is it still called the PDG? Is that what they still call it? Yeah. No, they changed the name since I've been gone for 6 years. Well, they called it the PDG back there. I don't care what they call it now because, you know, it's not a part of the story. All right, so the PDG, which was a book that had all the stuff about the Air Force and everything you need to learn, first aid, buddy care, all that stuff. And then they had another book that he had to learn, sometimes big, that was called the Career Development Courses. And so that was your job. So you had to study how to be in the Air Force and everything about the Air Force, and then you had to study about your job. And it took self-discipline to do that because guess what? They said, you don't have to do it. You know, so if they tell me I don't have to do it, that was probably my problem. Then I probably didn't do it. I was in the club, you know what I mean? And I was, you know, running the streets. And Lorenzo was not doing that. Lorenzo was in his room studying. And he made that strike the first time. And so self-discipline. If you take something away from today, be self-disciplined. All right? So he also ran into his first deployment. And that's these pictures you see right here. And he went to Iraq. And in Iraq, his job was to go to different, what they call FOBs, forward operating bases. And his job was to go and work on the electrical system for these FOBs to give them a more comfortable environment, give them better electrical support and things like that. And so he had to convoy around Iraq. Now, I've convoyed around Iraq, and it's not fun because there's a lot of people that's trying to kill you. You know, they're riding around in these white Corollas. Every day we got bolos on white Corollas. There's a white Corolla trying to kill you. There's a white minivan trying to kill you. And so every white minivan, you're like, hey. So he did that. He did that for 6 or 7 months, and he was able to do it successfully. He was able to come back and just be a blessing to everybody he did. So after that, he attended Airman Leadership School. That's his first level of leadership. And he was a rope there, so you know he's an individual that is put in charge of all the rest of his superiors or his people in the school and stuff like that. And then next slide, please. Sincere was born. What's up, Sincere? Raise your hand. Sincere looking cool, this man. He got the hair going. He got the tie. Look at it. When I did that, he pulled his jacket over. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Sincere looking sharp. Sincere is 16. And Sincere plays all sports, right? A lot of sports, yeah. And Sincere plays the piano. And he's smart. Somebody said he's smart. Oh, okay. Somebody just randomly say he's smart. All right. You smart, Sincere? You know what I always wondered? I mean, do you feel a lot of pressure to be like your name? Do you feel a lot of pressure to be sincere? You know what I mean? I'm playing with you, Sincere. I'm just playing with you. That name is a lot of pressure. If you're not sincere, they're going to be like, man, you're not sincere. But Sincere was born, and that was a blessing. But he was at Alaska, and I'm just finding out now that he didn't like Alaska too much. Because he was shaking his head like, nah, I ain't like it up there. Night all the time, day all the time, you know. But he did like fishing and doing all that stuff that they do up there, you know, salmon fishing and all that. So now it was time to go to another base, and he looked for Holloman Air Force Base. And so he didn't have a whole lot of choices in what to pick from. But Holloman Air Force Base is in New Mexico. And where my Holloman people at? Who's been stationed there, you know? Nobody? Two of us. I wasn't stationed there, but I went TDY there, and when I left, I was like, I ain't coming back. But that's in the middle of nowhere. But you know what? Lorenzo loved it. He was like, man, this is a good base. You know, it's cool for me. His job there was to take care of basic expeditionary airfield resources, or bear stuff, and take care of the electrical equipment. So what he did was, family, and this is for the family, this ain't for y'all, because y'all like, I know what bear is, why is he explaining it? All right, what he did was, equipment came in, and what he did was he had to go and convert it to the Air Force standards. So if it came in with a certain type of power source, he had to change it so that it worked for the Air Force. And then they took that equipment and they sent it over to the war zone to enable individuals to be able to use it and help kill the enemy. All right? So that was his job. But Lorenzo didn't like that job too much because he liked being outside. Lorenzo was an outside dude. He liked being on top of those poles. You seen those pictures where he had those. I mean, have you ever done that thing where you got to roll up the pole and all that, the competition and all that? Yeah, he was one of them dudes with the hard hat, and going up the pole with that little rope. So Lorenzo loved being outside. So this job, he was inside doing a lot of inventory, so he didn't love it too much. But what he did like to do at Holloman was party. Lorenzo was a partier at Holloman, y'all. He tells me that he partied 7 days a week. Are y'all with me? And when he got to Holloman, he got a job. Can anybody guess where he got a job at? Pizza Hut. He walks into the place like, boom! I worked Pizza Hut before, I got my own shirt. I got the tag on top of my car already. You know, I got to log in. You know, what you gonna do? You know, and so he got a job at Pizza Hut, and he got that job at Pizza Hut so he could go party, right? He said he'd go work 3, 4, 5 hours, deliver about 100 pizzas, and then he would go and hit the club. He said the only night they wouldn't go out to the club was the night they stayed in the room, played cards, had some tasty beverages, and barbecued and all that. So that's kind of like a party, right? That's still a party. So 7 days a week, Lorenzo was partying. But he was a smart partier, right? You see, he's up here as a chief, so he didn't drink and drive. He didn't, get too drunk to where he couldn't come to work the next day. And so he was a responsible partier. So that's what I encourage y'all to be, especially the young airmen. Be a responsible partier. Have a plan. You know what I mean? They always told us when I was growing up, have a plan. Know what you're going to do when you go out to party, all right? Supervisor like, yeah, preach, brother, preach. He'll do it. Amen. Won't he do it? So then it was on the DM. Oh, let me talk about this right here. So this tag right here while he was at Holloman, as a staff sergeant, Lorenzo filled this tag out for an inspection to say that something was serviceable. And back in 2019, a friend said, hey, Lorenzo, I found a service tag with your name on it as a staff sergeant, and you were a chief or you were senior master sergeant. She was senior master sergeant, and I found a name. I'm just gonna take it and send it to you, you know what I mean? So what I'm wondering is, did he refill it out and put it back on a piece of equipment? That's what I went straight to. You can tell I got a crazy Air Force head. But anyway, this thing was signed by him back in the day, and his friend was able to send it to him and say, hey, this is something that you did, so this is a good memory. Show it at your retirement. All right, so y'all see it? Y'all good? All right, next slide. So it was on to Arizona. Davis Martin, where my Davis Martin people at? Okay, there's about 8 of y'all in here. So after a short trip in New Mexico, I think he was there 18 months, he moved on to DM. I'll call it DM from now on so you guys know what I'm talking about. Davis Martin, and again, that's in Arizona. What's the city called? Tucson? So Tucson, Arizona. He was excited to go to Arizona because, you know, his mom was there in that area, family and stuff like that. And so he was hyped about getting to DM. And no, when he got there, he said that he learned a lot. And he learned a lot from a lot of the civilians. They taught him, they took him under his wing. They saw, hey, look, we got this new, I believe it was a staff sergeant or a tech sergeant. We got this new tech sergeant. He's very hyped up. He's excited about learning things. So we're going to just, give him information and press into him. And so he gives a lot of credit to the civilians. Let's clap it up for the civilians. And you clapping it up for me too, so let's get a little more. I'm a civilian. All right, so let's clap it up for the civilians because we be killing it. Anyway, so he gives a lot of credit to the civilians for teaching him and doing that stuff. So he changed a lot of jobs while he was there in DM. Like changed the job every year. One of his mentors was like, hey man, just keep moving, and every time we put you into a section, you just do so well, and you just, rise it to another level, and then we want to take you and have you go fix somewhere else. So those of us that are fixers, we know that. We don't like that. We like, hey man, I just fixed all this up. Why you gonna put me in the bad section there? But if you're a fixer, you know that. And so that was Lorenzo. Lorenzo was going into these different sections and just making them better, and just improving them. And Lorenzo deployed twice from DM. All right, let's see, next slide. Yep. Hey, go back to that other one. We got to look at it for at least a couple seconds. So, see, this is what I was talking about, climbing the pole. So I guess you start at the bottom of the pole with that thing, and you just go up. You just scoop up, and you just stick your feet in the pole and go up. That's all right, man. That's not what, I mean, I'm glad they didn't pick me for this job, because I would have been like not coming to work. I would have been like AWOL, so thank God. When I first came in, I was a POL troop. And that's a person that goes out to the flight line, like when it's raining right now, and we go out and we go and refuel aircraft. So I was doing that, and I was at Dover, and they have big aircraft there called C5s. And it's like an apartment building. The whole plane is like an apartment building in there. So you fill it up, you just go there, and at the beginning of the shift, they say, hey, you know, take this hose cart, go out there and fill that plane out. And then they come pick you up about 8 hours later. And so you sitting out there for 8 hours just like, I was like, I really had to evaluate, is this for me right here? And so I did not like outside, so I changed jobs. I became a logistics planner, and I became a desk dude, so I'm loving that. So I like being at a desk in the warmth. Anyway, so the windows, he deployed twice. He went to IUD, and then he went to IUD there, and IUD is a nice deployment place. For those that don't know, where my IUD people at? Some of y'all been to IUD? Yep, all right. IUD, and so IUD is a nice deployment place. They even give you 2 drinks a day. Is it 2 or 3? What'd you got? 3? 3? The colonel like 3, man. It's 3, man. You're messing up. We got 3 drinks. Colonel, you was in there. You was in the Fox, huh? You was in the Fox bar. So you get 3 drinks a day. They got all the accommodations. They got Wi-Fi everywhere. You can just be walking around. And so it's not really like a real deployed place. You know, it's like you over there in the desert. There's a lot of sand, you know, and the conditions aren't great. But, you know, you're over there in the desert and, you know, it's nice. But then he went to Afghanistan, Camp Phoenix. And that's a tougher spot to be at. This is kind of where I ran into and met, I think then Staff Sergeant Livingston. And so Staff Sergeant Livingston was there. And as you can see, we had to wear protection. They gave us 2 guns. We had a 9, we had an M4. We had to walk around with flat vests all the time. We had extra ammo. People were trying to shoot at us and blow us up. And so that wasn't like Qatar. That wasn't like IUD. And it was a lot tougher. And so Lorenzo did, he just embraced it. And he went and he had a great time there with, you know, learning a lot. He had a mentor there or a major that decided to teach him how to be an engineer. And so he was really excited about that because he was learning things that he had never learned before. So later on, it really came in handy that that major decided to, you know, take him to the next level. And what happens in your career is, quick little leadership lesson is, when people see the potential in you and they see you killing it in whatever you do, hey, do the snack bar, or hey, take care of this, hey, go fix that. And you come back and they can go look at it and say, man, he did a really good job. I don't have to continually check after him. And then they're going to want to give you more. They're going to want to pour into you. They're going to want to help you to get to the next level. And so all I can tell you, if you're going through things, do it the best that you can do. And people will notice that, and then they will want to give you, you know, more responsibilities. Yeah, he'll do it. He'll do it. So I met Lorenzo there, and we even were part of the base chapel there. And Lorenzo became my soloist. Did y'all know that Chief Lorenzo can sing? Anybody know he can sing? Yeah. Family like, yes, yeah. Oh, Grandpa can sing. He got it from Grandpa. Grandpa, give me a tune real quick. Nah, just kidding. You give it up, mic, boy. So Lorenzo could sing, and Lorenzo was my soloist, man. He was doing work. I was like the choir director. And Lorenzo was over there, yeah, come on now, come on. And so Lorenzo was doing it over there and just blessing the Lord and worshiping God. And we had a really good time over there. We did a play over there, and we just had a great time in Camp Phoenix. I mean, we was in the middle of the war zone and just having a good time, but, you know, seriously doing some real work. Some of the things he did there was he went outside of the wire 50 times, 50 missions outside of the wire. He provided oversight for 125 sites worth $65 million. You know, I started going through and trying to figure out how much money he saved or how much money that he worked on pieces of equipment, how much it was worth. And it was exhausting. I got up to like $1 million. I was like, man, okay, I'm just gonna say multi-billions. It was multi-billions, guys, because I'm not sitting up here all night and counting all this money. This dude had worked on a lot of stuff. So anyway, he worked on all that good stuff. So additionally, again, he was in the gospel choir. So when he got back, give me a slide. It was time to get married. When we get married. All right, so it was time to marry Chanel. And Chanel tells me a story last night at the dinner table of a very romantic proposal. It was in a beautiful restaurant called Chick-fil-A. It was lunchtime. Lorenzo set up a very romantic time, and he said, hey, come by Chick-fil-A at lunchtime. And you see what happens. And so she was there, and they were there, and I'd like to say they were there alone. But no, Lorenzo brought Sincere with him to do the proposal. And so I thought about it later. I was like, okay, it makes sense. He brought his son and he's gonna, ask him to marry. So she said it was nice, but yeah, so they was in Chick-fil-A and the lady was going around like, yeah, you like refills? And you know how they do at Chick-fil-A, very accommodating. And then Lorenzo picked the ring out of his pocket and slid it, next to the bag. And Chanel didn't see it, at first. And he was like, oh, what's that? What's that right there? And so then Chanel opened it up and she was like, is this a proposal? She said it all loud in the Chick-fil-A. People were looking around. I'm like, Lorenzo, you're supposed to ask her to marry. He was like, yeah, yeah, I guess. And so a very romantic thing. And so I make light of that, but what a blessing to find someone that you love and somebody that's compatible and someone that will support you in everything. And Chanel, I mean, come on. Y'all know her? Do y'all know her? Because I do. Chanel. So Chanel, she serves in her own right. Y'all know Chanel has worked for the Department of the Air Force for a long time. She has, supported commanders. And even here, she's working as a, okay, there it is. She's working as a management analyst for the U.S. Comptroller School at Fort Jackson. And so throughout her career, she has just been supporting it. Even when she's not working, she's at events. And y'all know she has a business. I'm going to put a shameless plug. But she has a baking business that is incredible. Everything in the back that you see here today, she baked. And so she does that. And I mean, she just supports the family. Think about all the time that Lorenzo had to be late, had to go in and get recalled, had to deploy and all that stuff. And she had to pick up everything that was left and make sure that it keeps going on. And so again, we just give you a round of applause, Chanel. Thank you for your service, girl. And we recognize you today too. We're gonna say Lorenzo's name a lot, but we know that he could not have made it through these 21 years without you. Thank you, Chanel. So let me get the next slide. So then they had a baby. It was like a year after, They got pregnant. Let me talk about a little bit about them getting married real quick. So they got married, and they got married on a Carnival cruise, y'all. And so they went and took a Carnival cruise. They got married. You get on the ship, you get married, and if you didn't buy a ticket, you got to get off the ship. And then, you get to go sailing, and, the honeymoon and everything is right there, and then they clean up and they do everything. And so I'm gonna tell my daughters that's the way to go right there. That sounds like a good plan. I'm not trying to spend $40,000 on a wedding. All right, so, they've been watching all these shows, and anyway, I'm digressing. And so they did that, and they got married, and so we think that. But then Roman was born. Roman was born in 2012. Roman is 10. Where you at, Roman? Stand up. Wave to the people. Look, he cool with it. Did y'all see that? Him getting up like he was like, what's going on? So, I gotta tell this story real quick too. I'm a storyteller. Hey, look, if I'm getting too long, y'all just be like, Pete, bring it back. So last night I was at the house, And last night was like a, what's the show called with the people who perform and stuff like that? American what? Okay, American Got Talent, that's right. See, he's scared to yell to me. So American Got Talent. It was like American Got Talent in the living room. Because London comes out and London was dancing. London was dancing, getting all. I was like, man, London, you're talented. And then Roman went and got his guitar. You know what I mean? And he's playing guitar. They're like, Mr. Pete, come outside. We're going to do some flips on the trampoline. And so these kids are just so active and good and so excited. And then, for one of the grand finales, London comes out and she brings the guitar, right? And she just is playing like one string, right? Gang, gang, gang. I was like, okay, all right, you gotta move. You gotta move your hand on this one right here, London. But then she starts singing. And she was singing like, what did you call her, Renzo? Like, who? Macy Gray, yeah, she was singing like Macy Gray, and like she didn't, you know, I'm a singer, and she didn't go off key one time. And so he got talented kids. Thank you, Grandpa, for the gene, you know what I mean? Thank you for the gene, the singing gene. And so these kids are great. So Roman was born, and he was there, and so at DM, you know, one of his supervisors, Tech Sergeant Talbot, he suggested that Lorenzo go work outside of the civil engineering squadron. So he interviewed for the Airman Leadership School job and to be an instructor. And he didn't get it because he was getting ready to deploy. But when he got back, he re-interviewed, and then he got the job. And he said, you know, one of his mentors was like, hey man, take this job. It's good for you to get out. Another little quick lesson. It's good for you sometimes if your career field allows to get out and do something else, to show people that, hey, I can, you know, kill it in CE, and I can also go and be a instructor, or I can also go and be a UDM and do great on that side. So have a breadth of experience is what us chiefs call it. And so make sure you go out and do some different things. Don't just stay in your job and kill it all your life. You can still do great with that, but, you know, experience something else. And so he decided to be that ALS is what I'm going to call it, Airman Leadership School instructor. And so he did that, and his job was to prepare senior airmen and staff sergeant to assume NCO responsibilities by instructing 192 hours of combat leadership curriculum. And so there was a supervisor, the commandant, Master Sergeant Christian. She said, hey Lorenzo, you're doing great. You're doing great with your class. I mean, you're getting surveys, and people are saying, man, he's great, he's charismatic, and, you know, we learned a lot. And she's like, yeah, you're doing real great, but some of the other instructors are struggling. So what can you do to make them better, right? And so he's texting her, he's like, hey, my job, that's your job, won't you go do it? And so she was like, nah, we're gonna do this because you got it. So what can we do to get them where you are? And so she had him thinking in a different way. Instead of him thinking about just doing well and making sure he takes care of business for his class and his people, he became a person that was able to take his talents and give it out to others. And that's a sign of a really great leader, you know, that's being focused, consistent, and self-disciplined. And so she gave him that, and it was deliberate that she made him go out and train others and for them to become better. All right, so we're going to Misawa, Japan. Here we go, Misawa. Can I get the slide, please? Oh, Airman Leadership School. Did I talk about that? No, he went to Airman instructor. Go ahead, next slide, please. Oh, he got promoted to Master Sergeant, too. So congratulations, your Master Sergeant, making all the stripes the first time. Man, he makes me sick. All right, so go ahead next. All right, so it's time to go to Misawa. And they went to Misawa, Japan. And good assignment, you know, but it's not Tokyo. So it's a little more country, so they flew up and they started seeing rice paddies and, you know, a little bit more country environment, but, you know, they enjoyed it, and he took a fresh look there, and he was able to go in and make a lot of improvements on the squadron, and he was able to work with the superintendents of operation and engineer, and he even became a unit deployment manager. See, I told you. A unit deployment manager there, and while they were there, him and Chanel, they attended Greater Love Church. Y'all not paying attention? I mean, y'all sleeping over there? I mean, you know, what are y'all looking at? The slideshow? Let me see, what are we doing over here with the amen? Amen. All right, good. Y'all back. Y'all are back. All right. So they became deacon and deaconess there at Misawa, Japan, and so not only serving the Air Force, but serving their community and serving people of God, serving their pastor, and so volunteering and doing great things. They traveled around and they had a great time there at Misawa, but they didn't stay very long. They stayed, I think, a couple of years, and then it was time to leave. But we had a beautiful birth there, and London was born. I mean, that's the cutest picture right there. I mean, she killing it with the gold boots and the whole nine. I mean, London, you was doing it right there. You're doing it today, too. Very nice outfit. You got the boots rocking with the dress and the bows. And all right, you're doing it, girl. All right. And so London was born there. London, as I mentioned, she's 7, and she likes to dance. Right? She likes to dance, and she's a singer. I mean, last night, I'm a test. I can be a test to that because she was killing it last night. Again, they stayed only for a couple of years, and Lorenzo, he arrived there a tech sergeant select, I believe, or a tech sergeant, and then he left as a senior master sergeant select. So I'm talking about these ranks, and I'm gonna stop hating. I'm not gonna say, he make me sick anymore, but yeah, he does, because he was able to have that self-discipline and be focused and study and make those stripes. And I was sitting there like, you know what? I'm going to the game today, or I'm going to do this instead of studying. You know what? I'll be good, Well, I'll start studying a week before. That's work for everybody, right? Where my week before people at? Yeah, it's just me? It's just me? All right, you lying. You know some of y'all waited to the last minute. All right, so then they left Japan. A lovely family picture right there, all right? They left Japan, and now it's time to go to Maryland. It's my hometown. Where you at? Where my Maryland people at? None, just me. All right, amen. All right, sister, I see you. All right, so it was time to go to Andrews. And, Maryland, Virginia area. I love it, great place. And so he was in a civil engineering squadron for 3 months. And he worked there, worked at a lot of different places, and then he moved to the wing to be Inspector General. And what the Inspector General does, family, is they're the people that will go out and inspect the different units to make sure that they're in compliance of the Air Force standards. Is that pretty simple, or do I need to break it down some more? I ain't got no more, I'm sorry. If you don't understand, it don't matter. He worked for the IG, y'all. And then, and so he was going outside of his career field again and doing it. When he went there, he just changed a lot of things. He improved on the processes. He was able to inspect units, and units were improving, and so his impact was seen right away. He was also the Joint Base Andrews Sergeants Association president. He won Senior NCO of the Year of the entire District of Washington, D.C. He was a nominee for the 12 Outstanding Airmen. I think he was like the 13th Outstanding Airman. He was the 13th because he was a nominee and they chose 12 and they were like, all right, so man, between you and somebody else, so we're gonna choose them. So he was a nominee for that, and y'all don't understand how humongous and how many levels you have to go to be considered of one of the 12 Outstanding Airmen. That's the 12 best airmen as they see in the entire Air Force. And so he was, he did that, man. He worked, round of applause, man. Yeah, y'all gonna have to get together because y'all just sound like, All right. So yeah, God will do it, man. God will do it. God has blessed Lorenzo. And he worked as a senior master sergeant. Sometimes when senior master sergeants are really strong and have a great leadership, they're able to go up to the squadron and maybe one of the chiefs, is there a gap in between one of the chiefs, or they can deploy or something like that, and they're able to fill in for that chief. And so Lorenzo did that for 7 months at Andrews, and when he did it, I mean, the squadron was winning all kind of awards, and they got, I think they were the was at that base, they were the best, they were the best small CE in the whole entire Air Force and stuff like that, or runner-up. And so, what a great accomplishment that they did, and he did that. And so, a lot of accomplishments there. And so, Lorenzo made chief at Andrews. So, Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo, clap it up for them. to it. Self-discipline, focus, consistent. So he was at Andrews and they said, hey man, we got a job for you. And when some people ask you that, they're like, yeah, we need you to take care of some stuff. And so when people ask you that, sometimes the job may not be the best. And so his job, what they wanted him to do at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling, which is about 10 miles from Andrews, right on the Potomac River in D.C. What they wanted him to do was they wanted him to go and transition a unit that was taking care of their civil engineering stuff by the Navy and contractors. And what they wanted him to do is they wanted him to come in and either get rid of those people or whatever and then plan an infrastructure to make it all military again. And so he was able to come in and do that, and he kind of got a little stressed when he started talking about it. He was like, Pete, it was a tough job, man, you know, because he had to go in and fight with those Navy civilians, and he had to go in and fight with people and they weren't willing to work with them and things like that. And he had to build an entire squadron from scratch. So everything he learned when that major in Afghanistan and people were teaching him things, well, unit deployment manager and manpower stuff, all that stuff that he learned throughout his career that people were like, you don't really need that, you're an electrician, go, you know, work on some electrical stuff. You know, all that stuff that he learned, he had to take that and he had to execute that when that assignment at Joint Base Andrews. So I believe in my heart always that God puts us in certain positions to enable us to do things that we need to do later. So don't be afraid to go out and do different things and learn different things. Lorenzo wasn't afraid to do that. He had to create a 300-man unit manpower document. He converted 3 Navy organizations to a whole new squadron, and he had to do all of that at Joint Base Anacostia. And so, you know, he was a new chief. So he had some challenges, and sometimes when you're a new chief, it's difficult to know your voice. It's difficult to know when you can, you know, tell somebody, oh, you're gonna do it, or, you know, hey, well, can you do it, please? And, you know, and so sometimes it's, you know, difficult to know your voice and learn your voice. And, you know, he had been spending 17 years. There we go, 17-year chief. It took me, what did I say, 26 years to get there. All right. I am not hating. I'm very proud of my friend. I'm very proud of my friend. All right, and so this was a rare accomplishment. And as mentioned, you know, to become a Chief Master Sergeant, it's 1% of the Air Force. We're in the top 1%. And so there's only 1% of people in the Air Force that are chiefs. And so it's a very difficult position to get to. And you have to work hard, you have to do the right things, you have to be in the right places, you have to make sure that you're taking care of business everywhere you go. And so Lorenzo was able to do that. So now it was time to probably get out and leave Joint Base Andrews. I promise this is the last base. Because he came here to Shaw. Where you at, Shaw? Oh, y'all better come. I mean, this is y'all. I mean, this is Shaw. So, all right. So, but he says that Shaw was perfect for him. Because, again, being at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling, when you're there and you're around a lot of civilians, they like, you know, E9, what, chief, what, I don't care, you know, I'm not doing it, you know, and so it's a little different when you come to a base, right? It's a little different when you come to a base, and thanks for being a slide change, because I just forgot to tell you the next slide, I appreciate it. Who's back there doing the slide? Somebody, thank you, hey, appreciate you, you're doing a great job, y'all clap it up for him. Is that a lieutenant? That's somebody? Yeah, okay, all right, appreciate you, because I don't have to give you any instructions, and so I appreciate you helping me out. All right, and so he came here, and so it was great for him. And what he says, he loved it because when he was there, no one was listening to him, and he had to fight for everything. Whenever you get here and you're a chief, people are like, he's a chief. Whatever he says, it goes. You know, and so it's a little frustrating, you know, when he was with the Navy and they were like, you know, I don't care about you. You know, I've been working here for 35 years. You know, you're going to be going next week. So I'm not listening to you. And so when you come to a base, you tend to have a little bit more power. And so you're able to, praise God, most chiefs don't take advantage of it, but you have more power, and you don't have to, you know, earn and prove to everybody about your stripes. They look at you and be like, top 1%, you know, he had to be doing business, he's taking care of business, you know, I'm gonna listen to him and I'm gonna follow him. So he serves as a key advisor to the commander on career development of 436 people. Oh, that's a lot of people. In this squadron. And so the commanders, first sergeant and the deputy civilian, especially the airmen, was all refreshing to him. And the reason why I say that is because he got a chance to come back to the real Air Force, and the structure and the real Air Force and the way it is. And so it was very refreshing to him. And what he says is that he needed you guys out here, and then he hopes and he knows probably that you guys needed him, and you needed him to come in and take care of business. And so he just took a deep breath and said, and just exhaled joint base Anacostia and said, all right, I'm gonna inhale and take care of all my people and everybody here. And you know Lorenzo's going to have mentoring programs. He's gonna try to, you know, pull people and try to meet people and try to, you know, mentor people. And so such a great person and such a great chief and such a great personality. And so we thank you for that, Chief. So through his leadership, the squadron responded by sweeping the wing awards, quarterly awards, functional, and I was wrong earlier, and the specialty awards, and the squadron ultimately, which that was here, was the Air Force runner-up for CE of the year. And so, I mean, you do great things. When you come in as a chief and you're able to make an impact and give people the recognition that they deserve, you know, like, I'm doing a great job, you know, give me recognition, you know, and he's able to do that and able to take care of a lot of people, and so we thank you. Chief Livingston fought hard for a career based on knowledge, hard work. He has given the ultra focus and progression in being better. He has been self-disciplined. He has been focused. He has been consistent. He's never played around. He mentioned that to me. He said, Pete, you know, I didn't want to play around. When I came in, I was like, you know, this is real for me. You know, this is going to be my legacy. You know, I'm not going to be messing around on the weekend and doing things wrong. I'm going to take care of business. And those of us that know him know that he's focused and he's about business. And so we thank him for that. And so Lorenzo, he came into the Air Force and he made the Air Force better. And the Air Force gave him a lot of opportunities and prepared him for this day right here when he's going to retire. You know, it's often said, and he said it, we don't look like what we've been through, you know? We don't look like what we've been through. And so Lorenzo has had challenges. May not have shown them all to everybody. He has had challenges in his life. He has had to go through things as a young teenager, as a young person that maybe somebody wouldn't have to do. You know, they may grow up in an easy environment, but he had to go through a lot of things and get through a lot of challenges to get through life. And he's been able to bust through that. And he has been able to be better for it. And just look at him today. He's a chief master sergeant in the United States Air Force, getting out of here with a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, three associate's degree, a PMP certification. You know, who's not gonna hire this guy? You know what I mean? And so I know, Lorenzo, you might be sitting here like, you know, where am I gonna work? What am I gonna do? But I'm telling you right now, a company that hires you, brother, they're hiring somebody with integrity. They're hiring somebody that's going to love the people that work for and around him. They're hiring a leader, an accomplished leader. They're hiring someone that's going to do the best at whatever they give him. And so I just wish you the best, my brother. I thank you for this opportunity to allow me to come in here and talk about your career and that you entrusted me with this. And I just, like as the commander did, I salute you, my brother. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day.
Definitely got hot up here. Thank you, Chief Master Sergeant Retired Steve Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Military Service Medal. Please remain standing for the retirement Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo Livingston. Attention orders. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal to Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo A. Livingston for outstanding service 28 May 2021 to 31 July 2023. Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo Livingston distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as a senior enlisted leader, 28th Civil Engineer Squadron, 20th District Support Group, 20th Fighter Wing, Charter Air Force Base, South Carolina. During this period, Chief Livingston served exceptionally as a key advisor to the commander on the effective utilization and strategic career development of 436 engineers. In this role, he energized and empowered his team to provide world-class installation and mission support for $2.95 billion in base infrastructure supporting the Air Force's largest F-16 wing, 6 groups, 46 squadrons, Army and Air Force's central commands, 1,000 facilities, and 4 geographic combatant commands. Above and beyond, he served as a strategic advisor for Charter Air Force Base's first ever African American Heritage Council and the Rising Forward Council. His advice and coordinated growth policies, processes, and events supporting the DoD diversity and inclusive initiative and ensured advocacy for 1,700 airmen. Finally, Chief Livingston's inspirational leadership was instrumental to his team's success, with his unit earning the 2021 Headquarters Air Force Best Small Civil Engineer Unit Runner-Up Award, and 11th Air Combat Command level awards. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Chief Livingston culminate a distinguished career in service to his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Attention orders. Special order number AC 009998, dated 29 August 2022. Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo Livingston, effective 31 July 2023. You are now relieved from active duty. 20th Civil Engineer Squadron, Charter Air Force Base, South Carolina. Retired effective 1 August 2023 by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Lieutenant Colonel Oxendine will now present the certificate of retirement to Chief Master Sergeant Livingston. Certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see this present gifts. This is to certify that Chief Master Sergeant Lorenzo A. Livingston, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of August 2023. Signed General Charles Q. Brown, Jr., United States Air Force, Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Chief also received certificates of appreciation from President Joseph Biden and Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Chief Joanne S. Bass. These certificates and additional congratulatory items are located on display at the property. Ms. Chanel Livingston, will you please join your husband and Lieutenant Colonel Oxendine on stage? Mrs. Livingston, would you please pin the official retirement pin to your husband's left lapel? In the future, each time an honoree wears his pin, it will show everyone that he served his this country faithfully and has earned his retirement. The pen indicates he is still a member of the Air Force family, but now serves in a retired status. Thank you, Mrs. Livingston. Please remain on stage. We all know how important the support of our family is to our military careers. Therefore, the United States Air Force wishes to formally recognize Janelle Livingston for her contributions to the success of her husband's career. Mrs. Livingston is receiving a certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. It reads, in grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate to Janelle S. Livingston for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for the support which gave me strength and purpose to your responsible service. Signed, Charles Q. Brown, General. Also received a certificate of appreciation from Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, which reads, on behalf of all Air Force airmen and their families, the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force presents this certificate of appreciation to Janelle S. Livingston. I join your spouse, family, and friends to thank you for your numerous contributions and sacrifices you made in support of our United States Air Force. Your dedication gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service and defense of our nation. Signed, Joanne Bass, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. I would now like to invite Sincere, Roman, and Linda up to join your parents on stage to receive letters of appreciation. Sincere, Roman, and London have received certificates of appreciation from 20 Fighter Wing Commanders. They read, for your dedication, commitment, and numerous sacrifices that allowed your father to serve faithfully in support of our nation's defense. On behalf of the entire Air Force and the people of this nation, thank you for providing strength and purpose to your father's service. In grateful appreciation on behalf of the United States Air Force, signed, Colonel Christopher R. Smith, Commander, 20th Fighter Wing. Thank you, Chief Livingston, Janelle, Sincere, Roman, London, and Lieutenant Colonel Austin. It is a military tradition for a retired member to receive a flag upon retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to draw your attention to the Charles Air Force Department Fire Department Honor Guard team that will now perform a flag holding detail, immediately followed by a blue line ceremony in honor of Chief Master Sergeant Livingston's dedicated service to his country. The thoughtful mind, when it sees the nation's flag, sees not the flag, but the nation itself. Whatever may be the symbol or insignia, one reads chiefly in the flag the government, principles, truth, and history that belongs to the nation that sets it forth. The American flag has been a symbol of liberty, and men and women rejoice in it. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been a symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white. At that union be the 13 stars, white and a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 56 of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Spartan area that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space while Neil Armstrong planted on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on a constellation of airport satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flags of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our airports, nor on the flag we so proudly carry. Since 1776, no generation of Americans have been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today, they remain committed to preserving freedom and others want for us for generations to come. I explain the flag, giving it its extended fold, and show respect to the flag, and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom, at home and abroad. Since it's gone on the 20th century, they have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and the skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that Americans enjoy. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for freedom, which we all share, and the pride and patriotism we all feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all along the way. Along the line is this representation of Chief Livingston's milestone and accomplishments throughout his 21 years of service. Lorenzo Livingston enlisted in the United States Air Force on 3rd July 2002. He proudly wore the rank where he later as he completed basic military training and was indoctrinated to the Air Force way of life. Upon graduating from Air Base, Livingston proceeded to his electrical systems apprenticeship training and was promoted to the rank of Airman First Class. He bypassed the rank of Airman due to his years of service in his high school Naval Junior ROTC program. Upon graduation from technical training, Airman First Class Livingston reported to Housing Air Force Base, Alaska, in May 2003 as an electrical systems apprentice. Shortly after arriving at Housing, he was stationed with short tour to Iraq in May 2004. A1C Livingston returned to Alaska and was promoted to the rank of Senior Airman on the 14th of December 2004. Those stripes are still frozen to his arm today. In June 2006, A1C Livingston proceeded to the opposite climb and moved to Holland Air Force Base to work with the 49th Interior Maintenance Department. What base? Air Base. Shortly after arriving at Holland, Senior Airman Livingston was promoted to the rank of Staff Sergeant on the 1st of August 2006. Staff Sergeant Livingston, this new rank along with his first child, Sincere, in a brand new car with 18-inch rims. He decided he enjoyed the desert and moved to Livingston Retirement, Arizona in February 2008. Staff Sergeant Livingston was promoted to the rank of technical sergeant on the 1st of July 2011. Simultaneously was hired as an air leadership instructor at Davis Mountain Air Force Base. At this time, Staff Sergeant Livingston became second in command of his household and married his lovely wife, Janelle, House of Power. During this time as an instructor, Staff Sergeant Livingston was awarded the 81 Functional Award. Technical Sergeant Livingston was promoted to the rank of Master Sergeant on the 1st of July 2014. Master Sergeant Livingston welcomed his second born, Roman, and was named 2 times Arizona Florida of the Year. Dead set on promoted and earning the rank of Senior Master Sergeant. Earning the rank, Master Sergeant Livingston read and studied material to his newborn son in order to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Studied promotion and love that they received. In June 2015, Master Sergeant Livingston and his family took the show abroad and moved to Shinoda Sawa Air Base in northern Japan, where he started as a unit deployment manager. Master Sergeant Livingston was promoted to the rank of Senior Master Sergeant on the 1st of March 2016. Senior Livingston welcomed the new Lord Commander of his household, his daughter, Lady London. She quickly reallocated his increase in pay to diapers and formula. After his promotion to senior, he displayed many skills as he filled the readiness and emergency management superintendent, the facility superintendent, and the operations engineering superintendent positions. Senior Livingston earned the 84 Functional Award. In September 2017, Senior Master Sergeant Livingston and his family decided they had enough ramen, so they moved back to the States, arriving at Andrews Air Base, Maryland. While stationed at Andrews, Senior Livingston filled the facility superintendent and senior Livingston leader of the Lead Inspector General roles. In 2018, Senior Livingston was awarded Senior Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year and Inspector General Senior Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year. Senior Master Sergeant Livingston was promoted to the rank of Chief Master Sergeant on the 1st of July 2020. In 2020, he was selected as Air Force runner-up for Chief Master Sergeant Joseph Ahern Award for enlisted leadership. Chief Livingston moved here to Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina in May 2021 as a senior enlisted leader. With this rank, Chief Livingston was faced with the most difficult task of his career: navigating the COVID crisis and the world shutdown, convert fledgling Navy Public Works into an Air Force newest civil engineering squadron, and lean himself off the bottom as a basic chief. Any one of these situations along with the sense of the minimum institution. But through the grace of God, Chief Livingston is here today to tell us the Livingston story. Chief Livingston, as we present this flag, we recognize the ending of a long dedicated career. For the 21 years you spent in defense of principles for which our flag stands, we give you this flag, this charge. Accept it, protect it, guard it. And remember that the young men and women you have trained, guided, and inspired will follow in your footsteps and defend it as you have. Your honor. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me the great honor to introduce Chief Master Sergeant Renzo A. Livingston, United States Air Force, retired. Will the command team come forward for gifts?
Master Sergeant Renzo Livingston, Senior Enlisted Leader, 20th Civil Defense. 28 May 2021, 31 July 2023. Thank you for your outstanding leadership and guidance as men and women of the 20th Civil Defense Squadron. Your unwavering dedication to this unit as our champion, mentor, and advisor to our Big A airmen and their families is truly remarkable. You will be greatly missed, and we wish you nothing but continued success in the future endeavors. Engineers! Operation flight.
All right, Chief. So from ops flight, I think we can give you the best utility tool that you possibly use for all the emergencies that we've had over the past couple months. Catch water from the evac. You can scoop up sewage from the club. For the long meetings that you sit in, you can just sit here and drink some bourbon or ice, or maybe just a hot or a ice cold water. So right here, always remember you're part of the 20th Civil Defense Squadron. You're always with family. But also remember, Colonel Oxford, I just told my thunder. Engineers!
EOD.
So, Chief, we're going to do a little demo here in the fire department, but the Colonel asked me specifically not to do that, so we have some any explosions. So, it's got a plaque here repping the CE badge for whatever next desk you're sitting at. So it says, thank you for your 21 years of service and dedication to the Air Force and the civil engineering career field. And on behalf of the DoD, thank you for all your support and efforts in working for us and our team. So thank you.
Emergency management.
Chief, welcome back for the Redstone Emergency Management Flight. I'd just like to thank you for all your years of service and everything that you've done for our flight. Really appreciate it. We have great is got what you like motorcycles. So I've got the Braves here with two vintage Harley Davidsons, and it's got your English Davidson name.
Engineering.
Chief, since you're transitioning out of the military and onto greener pastures, the engineering flight would like to leave you with a memento of your time here at Shaw Air Force Base as a wild weasel. Under the weasel, on the ribbon below, it reads YGBSM, right? So this is a reminder that although you may face challenges as a civilian, always remember that the Air Force approved answer of YGBSM or you gotta be kidding me is always appropriate. Chief, thank you for your dedication to the nation and your service, your leadership to us as airmen and the squadron, and good luck on your future endeavors. Thank you.
Fire.
All right, Chief, so I'm not going to bring them all up. The scene probably see there's a little bit more over there, but I got a text with to enjoy at a later time, but also the camp crew. Again, thank you for your 21 years of service. Thank you for the fire department for everything you've done for us for the time here. Top cover you give us and everything you do for us. Sometimes goes unnoticed, but again, thank you for everything under the campus as Chief Master Sergeant, Brother Livingston Patrol, Fire Department. Thank you for your 21 years of dedicated service. Appreciate you.
Chief, floor is yours.
I stand here today truly blessed and grateful for everything that God has done for me and continues to do. And I was trying to search for the emotions that I have today during this ceremony, but it's kind of the same emotions that I had the day I left for basic training. Nervous but excited as well for the new adventure ahead. But I'm going to get us out of here. And so I appreciate you guys taking your time today to go down this journey with my family and I of these wonderful years of service. So coming into basic training, I remember it being about 25 minutes to get us checked in. They're kind of yelling like, "Hey, I called your social 3 times. Why didn't you say what you're supposed to say?" And then my out processing appointment to get me checked out here basis of about 2 minutes. So we're about an hour and 15 minutes past what it's supposed to be. But it's been an honor serving in the airport. So thank you really quick. Thank you to my wonderful project team, Lindsay and Ant, with a wonderful job putting all of this together. I know basically couldn't be a full-time job. So thank you. Round of applause, please. Thank you to the fire department for allowing us to take up space in your facility. This is definitely a full circle moment because about 22 years ago, I was sitting right outside where that fire truck is as a high school Naval JROTC cadet on a base visit here, just kind of touring, looking over the trucks and stuff. So it's full circle that I would be back here at Shaw Air Force Base this moment, those years later. So nothing but God. And so I'm truly thankful. So my love languages are physical touch and acts of service. And so all the fist bumping and all the stuff like that I do with everyone, that's my love language. That's how I speak and that's how I receive it as well. And then also physical service. Acts of service, excuse me. And so you guys being here today shows me that you love me and I receive that love. And in particular to my family and friends that have traveled all the way from the DC area, all the way from Arizona, from Florida, all over the country, especially during the shutdown yesterday. Traveling is definitely a labor and act of service and a labor of love. So thank you so much to everyone that came from Horry County and Columbia and all throughout the U.S. to share this special moment with us. Thank you so much. To my lovely bride, I do have some special gifts for you. My kiddos, I have some special gifts for you. Mom and Dad, I have some special gifts for you. And grandparents that we'll share here afterwards. And thank you for all your guidance and love. And so my lovely bride, when we first started dating, about 4 days later, I deployed. And so when we first started kind of dating, a little bit, we started kind of dating, I kind of had some options. I just kind of had some options. And through that deployment, as the months went on, those options started disappearing. But it was some care packages steadily coming in every couple of weeks. And there was some emails steadily coming in every couple of weeks. And there was some "Hey, how you doing?" coming in. I said I wasn't gonna cry. But they kept coming in. And so I said, hey, I'm a military man. It's going to be a rough life. I said, you know, she's hung in there. She knows what to do. Somebody taught her well, not sure who. And I said, so she's going to be the one. So I've learned how to be a lot more romantic since the Chick-fil-A proposal. So hopefully things are better. To my wonderful kids, thank you for traveling all over the world with Dad, and also bearing the moments of me coming home brain dead, me coming home not having enough energy to play with you. But this time now, this transition in my life, at 21 years in, a lot of energy left, is specifically for you. For us to hunker down, for you to get your career going, for you to make your friends, for you to plan, for me to fully focus on you, because you guys have supported a rough and tough, running fast, hard focus, 21 years. Mom and Dad, thank you so much. I love you. Mom has been to every location that I've been stationed at. Mom has traveled to Japan, she traveled to Alaska, she went to DC, she went to Mexico, everywhere I've been. Dad's been quite a few places as well. And so I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Granddad, I appreciate all of your hard lessons learned. When you guys come over here, you see my shadow box that was created by Mr. Lyman. I'm not sure of your business page, your business name, but Mr. Lyman did my shadow box. In the middle, you'll see a tie that's tied in that shadow box. And so right about my junior year in high school, I kept coming to Granddad saying, hey Granddad, can you tie my tie? Can you tie my tie? And he said, boy, this is the last time I'm going to tie that tie for you. He said, when you get in there with Uncle Sam, I bet you learn how to tie a tight end. And so I worked on learning how to tie a tie, and I go into basic training. And out of 64 airman basic training, I was the only one that knew how to tie a tie. So what do you think my training instructor did? Airman Livingston lined up and tied everyone's tie. And so from that moment on, it launched a career of being prepared. Prepared, readiness ahead of time, and it kind of brought on the saying, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So family and friends, thank you so much for sharing this time with us. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you as well on your other journeys that you're going to have in life. Thanks again.
Chief Livingston, we wish you and your family every success and happiness in the next chapter of your life. Please rise for the singing of the airport song and the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Oxendine, Chief Livingston, and his family, we thank you for attending and ask that you join us for the reception. Please feel free to congratulate the Livingston family in the receiving line at the back of the room.